So you might wonder how those modules are being assembled, because we have only one backend container and we have multiple modules. So we have one assembly module, which is responsible for assembling all of the other modules. So once we go into the, you don't need to do it. I'm just showing you how it works. So if I will go to the container of the API, and I will see what libraries and packages are installed using pip. I should be able to see that besides regular Python packages, there are modules installed. It is due to the fact that in the assembly module, we'll look at the structure in a second once we install it locally. But in the assembly module, there's a file called openIMIS.json, where we store links to the repositories or pip packages of those modules. They're being downloaded and installed as packages. Okay. I will exit. We'll play around with the openIMIS later on. So yeah, this is what I was talking a second about the assembly of those modules. It works the same way for front-end modules. They are installed using npm. Okay. I can show you the openIMIS JSON file. This is openIMIS JSON file used in frontend, where we specify the name of the module and path to the package. This is also the way for putting modules that you want into your instance. So by modifying this file, removing some kind of modules, adding different ones, you can specify which modules need to be initialized for your instance. Similar story with the backend openIMIS JSON file, but instead of npm, it uses pip. Here you can see the schema for assembling those modules. So Django manage configure settings. It gets the names and packages from the openIMIS JSON. It extracts the modules, and it appends the installed apps variable in settings of Django by adding the name of the Django apps. In this case, are modules to the installed apps. And then it turns on the configuration of each module. Analogically, it works the same on frontend. However, frontend also fetches the configuration data from backend because the configuration is stored. Default configuration is stored in the app config. It can also be overridden by the our own configuration using Django admin panel. So it can be used also on frontend, but to do so, the frontend needs to fetch data from either backend or the database. So the backend is required for starting the frontend. Okay, we have Dockerized instance running, but it does not allow us to modify in any way than specifying which modules need to be initialized in the openIMIS JSON file. If we wanted to proceed with the development of the code base, we would need to install backend and frontend on our local instances or on our computers. So we will turn off the containers from the Docker, and we'll root our local instances to work with the Dockerized database and other parts of and other containers. But before we'll do it, some it requires running database instance, which we already have in our Docker container. It already runs. We need Python 3 from 3.8 to the newest one. We also need pip, and we also need a virtual environment. We will need to set up our env file for our local instance of backend, which will be, we'll use the env file from the Dockerized instance as our reference, and use variables from there for our backend env file. Here, the link took us to the assembly module on GitHub, and the installation steps are described in the README module. It describes how to start working in openIMIS as a developer. It also points to useful comments that we'll also use for installing a single module and all of the modules, as well as how to extract translations. We'll go through each steps to show you how it's done. Besides, it is written here, but it will be easier to do it yourself and see how it works. So we'll start with installing a local instance of backend. You can go to the link I pasted in a chat to download the assembly repository. What I would recommend is to create a folder directory openIMIS where we'll have directories of Dockerized database and other containers. I will create a folder for backend, because we'll download all of the modules to that folder. If we did not create that folder, it would fill this directory with all of the modules. It would be a huge mess, so we want to organize it somehow. And I will create a directory for frontend. Please do the same thing on your computers. And after you do create those directories, please patch the assembly module for backend to that backend directory. So I will repeat to be clear that we want to create within openIMIS directory two additional directories called Backend and Frontend, and to clone assembly module, Backend assembly module to the Backend directory. What we want to do is to start our local API and use it instead of the container from the containerized instance. So I will stop the backend container. Docker stop demo API. It's been stopped. And now we want to install it locally. I don't know what IDE you use. I personally use PyCharm. And I will open the backend, not the assembly module, but the backend directory as a project in my IDE. Please do the similar thing using your IDEs. Okay. So the first thing I will want to do is to create a virtual environment. You can do it by manually typing the command in your console. But to be honest, I don't even remember the command, so I will use the tool that is provided by my IDE to create a virtual environment. It created it. We want to add virtual environment in the backend directory. So first, you will need to verify if you have Python. So once you type it should show you the version of your Python. I have 3.10.12. I'm not sure if it's the newest one, but one of the newest ones. But I hope that everybody has Python on their computers. And if you want to create virtual env in the directory you are currently in, you should use this command. We should end up with assembly module and a virtual environment directory in the backend directory. What we want to do is to activate it using our console. I will use console built in the PyCharm. You can use console from your computer to activate the virtual environment is source and being active. It will use the virtual environment. I will do it here as well. Mm. So what it does, we created a place where we will store all of the libraries, packages, and it will be contained in that directory. So we'll have one place with all the things necessary to run our project. Okay. Once we activated the virtual environment, we can go to the README to see what should be the next steps. Okay, so we cloned the repo, installed Python with virtual environment, install pip. Everybody should have pip. If not, please install it, but I believe it comes with Python already. And it says within openIMIS assembly directory. So we want to transfer to the assembly module. From within that directory, we want to install dependencies and dev requirements. So what we will do is pip install -r requirements dot text. By executing that command, we should install all of the requirements specified in that file. However, we will probably need to do some troubleshooting because it almost always requires additional steps to be done in order to make it work. I believe I already have all of necessary things to make it run, so that's why it did not output any errors. But if you will do it, probably you will see some kind of errors. Sometimes it requires Python Essentials package. You might have that already installed, but I remember I had a problem with that. There's also a section in the README where there's a common problem with building wheels. Oh, handling errors while running openIMIS app. If you have a problem with building wheels, you can troubleshoot that this way. But we'll continue with installation, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, once the requirements are installed, we want to install the go up. We want to install dev requirements. Those are some additional tools, I believe, for development. It could not find that file. It might have been moved somewhere else because that README is not that much up to date with the file structure I discovered while I was playing with it yesterday. Okay, it seems like there's no such file anymore. maybe all of the packages were moved to just requirements, so it does not matter. And now we want to generate a text file that would consist of URLs to repositories of our modules. So we were talking about openIMIS JSON file that stores data for which modules need to be installed. To do so, to install them, we want to extract those URLs to a text file, and we'll use pip and recursive installation of pip for installing the modules. So so we want to use a Python script to do it, but I believe it's hidden in the script. Yes, so we need to go to the script and module. Go back to openIMIS JSON. So this script extracts URLs to the text file. Okay. Now we have a such file that consists of all of the URLs, and we can install all of them by using pip install -r and pointing to modules requirements. Now, what it does, it installs all of the modules as packages. It takes a while because it downloads it. Okay, the modules should be installed. The script is in script directory. So you need to point to that script using script modules requirements, because we want to be within the assembly module, assembly directory module. Be cautious. Since we are doing that first time, we are starting from the beginning, the project starting from the beginning. It is not mandatory to uninstall previous module requirements, because we are sure that there's nothing in there because we have a fresh virtual environment. But if we were to install them later on or something like that, it would be necessary to uninstall previous module requirements before installing the new ones. Simply with Y flag, so you accept all of the if you don't add a Y flag, it shows you a prompt to say yes or no to uninstall. But with the Y flag, it accepts everything. So you uninstall everything and then install everything again. Oh no, not this one, but this one. I simply just uninstalled and installed the same thing because, as I said, we are starting the project, but if you had a different module structure or something like that, it would be beneficial to uninstall it first. Yes, Bud?
Thank you. I have a question regarding the modular requirements.txt and openIMIS.json, and we have inside the script modular requirements.python. I guess that the modular requirement, please correct me if I'm wrong, that modular requirements.python is a script to create, to read the openIMIS JSON and to make a new version of the file modular requirement.txt.
Exactly. It maps openIMIS JSON that is structured this way and maps it to the text file with just links to the packages.
Okay. And will the JSON file will be updated automatically or manually?
With each manipulation of openIMIS JSON file, you would need to update the module requirements as well. So you would need to run that script to map it to the text file to be aligned.
That means inside the openIMIS JSON, we write the name of the repositories, also the name of the module we want to use, and we start producing the module requirement.txt.
Exactly. So let's suppose the situation that we do not want to include payroll module in our instance. What we would do, we would delete that from openIMIS JSON. First of all, we would uninstall already installed modules. So everything is uninstalled. We have a plain card. We would map new version of openIMIS JSON to module requirements, which right now does not include payroll, which we removed from openIMIS JSON. And we would like to install that without this module. So this is the flow for manipulation of openIMIS JSON. But right now we want to install all of the modules. But if you wanted to change that file, this is what we would do.
And what is the mandatory modules that we can have that without them openIMIS cannot start working?
So for sure you need assembly module and a core module, which provides the core features for the system. And besides that, it's up to you what you want to use and how you want to use it. So the core is always first.
And the assembly?
Assembly, we are already in the assembly module. So this is the one that we downloaded.
Okay.
This is also the module that runs in the Dockerized instance. So it's just the assembly module that, so this is what we were talking about. We basically need only assembly module to run the app because it downloads all of the packages. But if we wanted to create changes to those modules, we'll install them manually on our computer, and we will do it in a second. And this is the only module that is required to run openIMIS basically, and you state what modules it uses in the openIMIS JSON file. Okay, since I deleted the payroll module, I want to actually install it. So I will do the process again and install all of them. But hopefully everyone has installed the modules. It's a Python script. So when you go to the README, you'll see this is one of the steps to, I'll paste it here. So what it does, it runs a Python program, modules requirements.py. You specify openIMIS JSON file that creates the text file with the packages. However, it has been moved to the script, the Python script. It has been moved to the script directory. So adjusted version would be something like that. If you use Windows, you would probably need to use Python 3, but I'm not sure because I use Ubuntu.
Yeah, I have already a backend installation guide on with the script that I can share with them. This is the backend installation on the wiki if you want to use it. This is for Microsoft. Microsoft. Sorry.
Okay.
Just on the install external dependencies, you have to copy the JSON file into the script folder. Then you can start the install external dependencies with the Python module requirement.
You don't need to copy that. You can add pointer to the parent directory. So this script I sent, it involves that part.
Okay. It's more better.
And yeah, it means that it directs to the parent directory, so you don't need to copy anything.
Yes.
So yeah, that README is not up to date with the file structure of assembly. It shows you the correct steps and approach, but you would need to adjust it a little bit to make it work with the file structure that is currently in the project. Okay, so we have installed modules, we have installed requirements. We would need to adjust our env file. So here as well, we have example file that we could use to create our own env file. So let's create our own file. It should be within the assembly module. Env. We will copy the content of the example and adjust it here for our needs. So since we use the containerized database, it would be good to align that with the variables that we use them. So we need to make sure that the database user is the same as their, if the password is the same as their, so on, so on, so on. As well as we need to make sure that we will, because database runs in a container and we run that locally. So unless you have local database, as in the case of Badr, because you said you have your local database. But if it's containerized, we will need to use the IP of that container, and I'll show in a second how to do it. So the variables that we are interested in are DB user. Let's see, DB user, IMIS user is the same, so it's fine. DB password is different, so we need to change it. So we changed the password to be aligned because Docker created a database with those parameters, and we want to connect to that database using those parameters because it is created for that user with this password, and Django will use environmental variables to connect to the database. Other than that, I don't think we need to change anything. We don't care about MS SQL environmental variables. By default, it is in development mode, which is great because this is what we want because we are developing. There's no reason why it should be in the production mode since we are installing that locally. That's why that env example file already had dev mode, but when it runs on the Dockerized instance, it has production mode, which means that it runs mutations asynchronously, and it prevents from going into some parts of the system from the browser. The last thing we need to do is to check the IP of the container we want to connect the database with. To do so, we can type docker ps, find the container ID or use the container name and execute the command. And here we can see the IP address. Let's copy it, paste it here, and it should allow us to connect with a database that is inside the container. You need to know that the IP of the container changes sometimes. So the IP address might change once you close your computer. So if after running the run server there's something wrong with the database, probably you just need to check the IP address again and update it. Okay, so according to the README, once we set up our env file, we can run server. We can execute run server command. I will just make sure that everything is fine. I'm looking if there's anything else that I should care about, but not really. So hopefully once I start the server locally, it will work. I need to go to openIMIS. It looks like it works. So what we did is we changed what we had here as a container API, our API. We routed it to have it on our computer. but still we don't have modules locally. They're installed as packages, but we don't know how. We can't provide any changes to the code base. We have just set up the running server with working modules, but what can we do to edit the code? So one thing is we can install that module locally using a command that is to fetch a module and install it from a local directory. So there's a command that allows us to download the directory of the module, and it will be using that directory as a working module in the system. So to do so, we can use comment when we type the manage. So Python manage install module locally, and we need to specify a module name. Let's say that we want to install core module. All we need to do is to type core, and it should download the module for our local instance and install it as a working module. There should be a new module available here, and we have access to the database, code base, and it installs it as a working package. So every time we create a change to the code, it will be reflected in the our API. So let's run our server again to verify that it works. And let's break something to see if after changing something we'll get an error. It detected changes. It restarts the server, and it throws an error that there's something wrong. Technical user serializer is not defined, which is great news. That means that we can provide changes to the code and have that reflected in our local instance. So please install, let's say, core module. Use that comment. I will paste that in the chat. It is also available in the README section, but I will paste it for the simplicity.
Just one thing, yeah. If we have, for example, a new migration on the database or on Python, and the Docker version is an old version, can we also the migration on to Docker, or we have to install the Docker?
So Django will detect if you are talking about having a Django migration in the code. Django will detect that it is not up to date with the migrations applied to the database, and you would need to apply that manually by typing Python manage migrate make migration. No, because we already have a migration migrate. So it is not like it's working independently. It is connected with our backend, so it works with it live. Okay, so we installed. So can we confirm that everyone who's following, do you have that core module installed locally? So we probably would like to install all of the modules because it's convenient to have them in one place. If we are developing, probably will go to one or another from time to time. So it's convenient to have all of them in your project. So to do so, there's a similar command which is Python manage install modules locally all. It's the same command, but without specifying a. Sorry, I made a mistake. Module. Without specifying a particular module, it installs all of them. So please do the same thing on your computers. You can see that slowly new modules starting to show up in the project. So now we have access to all of the code base from our computer, and we can start with the development, changing things, and do whatever we want. Now we'll set up the front-end module, front-end assembly module, which is pretty similar to what we did for backend. So we want to go to the assembly module for front-end. I will copy the link and paste it here. We want to clone the repository in the front-end directory. And we want to open a whole front-end directory as a project. I will use WebStorm for my IDE. I might use this README because it's bigger. I don't know I'm making the IDE bigger, but the README here was small, so I'll use the other one. Let's see. Yeah, it is small, and regardless of changing the zoom, it is still small. So let's walk through the steps to install Frontend locally. So we need Node 16. So if you don't have that, please install it right now. I will verify if I have it. Yes, I have version 16.20. And once you install Node, please make sure that you have Yarn. So we need to do the similar thing to what we did on Backend. So we need to load modules and URLs for npm packages from openIMIS JSON. As you can see, there's a similar file which is structured the same. However, it looks a little bit different because it's adjusted for the npm. Oh, sorry. So by typing using a command yarn load config, we should have the following output. Oh, I need to go into the assembly module. But in this case, it does not write it to any text file or anything like that. It adds it to the dependencies in package.json. And once we have that in package.json, we can install the packages. So yarn install. Yarn install and yarn start. Oh. Oh, because I'm in the wrong wrong IDE. Yarn install, and now it's installing the packages. The management of modules that are installed locally or using a packages is easier on Frontend because all you need to do is write those commands and it will install. Once you want to manipulate between those modules on backend, you need to uninstall them, then install, and it works smoother on the front-end part. It takes a while, so we need to wait. Once it's installed, we can start the front end. I will start the backend.
On the front end part, I have installed the required packages, and we need to set up the EMB to connect the API.
So if you have installed packages, you can start the front end by yarn start, and if your backend is not working locally, you can, because we stopped the container for API, you could start it again.
Okay.
So it would be used as the API for your front end instead of your local instance. However, I want to stop the container for front end because I will not use it. And right now the front end is working. We have it locally, but works from the modules are taken from the node modules. But eventually we would want to install them the same way as on backend. So there are also commands that allow us to download a single module. This is node dev tools install module locally. Let's install core. Okay, so if you want to install a single module on frontend, you would need to use the repo URL. We don't want to do it. Let's install all of them. So let's use this command. I will send it on the chat. Why is it? So we should see modules showing up in the project in a second. It also
Didn't
takes a
work for
while.
me. I think my Node version 18 didn't work. I need to use Node 16.
Could you repeat?
The front end didn't launch properly for me in Node 18. I think I need to revert to Node 16.
Okay. Let's do it, and we'll go through that flow once again. But you can copy the error message. Maybe it's not that, maybe it's something different, because there are some things that might go wrong on installing modules on frontend too. I remember there's been an issue with those protocols that sometimes it was raising a error because the Git does not support that Git protocol, and it had to be in a format like Git plus HTTPS, but I see that it's not raising it anymore. So
This is the error I get.
yeah, that looks like might be related to wrong version of Node. So yeah, please change it to 16. But once we will set up the project, the fun part will begin. I know that for now it might be a little bit boring, but those are the steps that we need to go through to understand how to start the project and how to start developing. The installation of local modules on frontend is the most time consuming part of installation. So be aware that it might take a while. Yeah, right now it is installing packages from the npm. So we will have the running local instance with the packages. What I'm doing right now is I'm installing all of the modules locally. So I have local instances of those modules. But once the yarn install is finished, you can verify if it works by yarn start and see if you have the homepage or login page. Installing modules locally changes the URL to a local path, so it indicates that you install a module from your local directory. It gradually changes from the URLs to the local paths.
We have I have a problem with the yarn install. I get an error. I will show you screen.
Okay. Switching. Okay. So this is the problem that I was mentioning. That I'm not sure why it sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. Because yesterday when I was doing a trial setup, I had the same issue, and it turned out that I found out that GitHub does not support when you go to the package .json in your you are in the package .json, so you can scroll above or down to see the openIMIS modules. Yeah, and some of them have protocol as Git, and some of them has Git plus HTTPS.
Yes.
So it turns out that I read somewhere that Git does not support just Git protocol, and you need to add everywhere Git plus HTTPS. So everywhere where you have a single Git, copy and paste to have Git plus HTTPS. I had the same issue yesterday, but when I was installing it today, as you could see, I had no issues.
Okay.
I'm not sure why, but once you add this, you should be fine with installing using yarn install.
Okay, thank you.